meeting is being recorded, and then after the recording is done, you can use it to post it online. Let's start, right? So I'm going to build a named entity recognition tool, and I'm going to use AI to do it. You could use Python, any number of tools as well, but it's very easy to do with LLMs. Okay, so I've got an agent here. I'm going to say a new agent. Let's say NER agent. And before I go start in Smith, I gotta get my prompts figured out. I'm just gonna use good old GPT for that. This is the article that he is doing named entity recognition for, and I copy pasted it here in the online notepad just to have the text and verify that I copied everything. So this is the text he's working with. Now, as far as I understand from the article, I'm sorry, I did not switch tabs. This is the text coming from the article referenced here, which is this text I pasted. And in here, he's basically saying, I'm using a Google Cloud Natural Language API, which is just an API call. I mean, seriously, in Smith, it would be, you would take this here, you would do an API endpoint, you would call the Google API through here, send your text in here, and boom, you have your output. That's it. That's how easy it is. Okay, so no Python needed. But I'm going to not use the Google Natural Language API because you can also do this directly with ChatGPT. So what I'll do is I'll start with ChatGPT, and I'll start building up some prompts, and then we'll make our own, not relying on the Google API. So even harder to do, right? So if I just call the API, I'd be done. But that's not cool.
Exactly.
Let's do it ourselves, okay? So I'm gonna start, but I'm building NER detection system. Give me the most common entity types such as supported and most NER commercial API systems. Okay, so let's start with that. Person, organization, time, date, money, event, product, work of art, language, ordinal, cardinal. Okay. So okay, great. I'm going to just temporarily copy that from my records over here. Okay, so let's say that these are the type of entities we want to detect, right? So now I'm going to say I'm gonna start with that, and I'm gonna say okay. I'm sorry. I'm back in ChatGPT. I'm going to give you a text, and I want you to wrap in HTML tags, right? And then I'm going to take that text from here. I'm actually going to take a smaller piece of it. I don't need that whole, I don't need ChatGPT to do all that work. Here we go. Okay. All right, look, we have already product. We have a person, Stephen Wolfram. Okay, we're done. Okay, so all right, so we have a reusable prompt now. And I can now go to SmythOS. So I'll start with copy code. I'll go to my agent. And so I'm just going to move an LLM prompt in here. I'm going to choose GPT-4o. That's the same model I'm using over there. And I'm going to paste my chat. So given the following input. Now input, but us has a capital I. So I'm just switching it. Identify and wrap each HTML tag according to its entity type. Okay. Example input. And then I'm going to take example. Okay. And then example output. You know what? This is just the markup. I don't need that. I don't need that either. And then this will be the output. All right. So this is an example input. So that's it. That's my prompt. So it's not hard to do an entity recognition one, right? Okay, so I save it, and it says HTML tags entity parser. And so now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to take this entire text, copy, and we'll go back here. I'm going to hit debug. I'm going to give this input, hit step, and we're done. And okay, so there's a cardinal. Wolfram. Wolfram is a person. Cardinal. Let's see. I know it's wrong. I need to set my maximum output tokens to the max. And save it. The other thing I need to do is I tried this prompt, but it is still lazy in that it does not wrap every entity in compilers. When you update the prompt like this, so see what comes back with as a suggestion. I don't see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly different every entity. I'm going to just make my own modifications to the prompt because it was not. Here it says all and every entity. Gordon, do not miss entities. All entities. Okay, that's my attempt. So I'm going to go back here. I'll take a chunk here from this text, copy that, debug it again, try feed it. Oops, that's not my intention. Spider-Man. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Look at us better. Product is GPT. AI can be a product. Okay, GPT is a product. Yeah, there are no other entities in here. We can try this with a Wikipedia article as well, but this is pretty much like working now. So what I'm going to do now is, let's say, create. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do something cool. Simple JavaScript that I can enter into the head of my HTML file that that will color with a highlight effect each entity in the text. Moreover, when I mouse over the highlighted entity, it will show me a tooltip with the entity type. For example, it's an organization, and mouse over the tooltip will say organization. Okay. So now it comes up with a color for every entity. And when the document loads, it recognizes entity types. It will use a query selector, and it automatically will add that highlight type with a mouse over effect. We'll see if this works or not. I'm just going to copy this code right now, and I'm going to put this code right here. So we've got head. All I need all I'm missing here is like HTML, and then I need HTML over here, and then you need a body, and then need to close my body here, right? And then I want to put the output of my tags. I want to put it here, right? So I'm going to copy all this here, go to Smith, and we're going to do another fun thing. I'm going to move another LLM prompt here. And this one is just going to be a simple echo. It doesn't even use tokens. So I'm putting my HTML here, and then I'm putting the input in here. I'm just pasting it back. So it doesn't cost me any money. I'm going to take the output from here and put that in here. Okay, and yeah, let's see if it works. What happens? Okay, so I'm going back to debug, run the same thing again. Okay, it's ready. We have our output. This is ready. So here's my HTML, and here we see we have a get response. So does it always do response, or do I need to define it? Give me a second. No, it says response result, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I need to modify my prompt a little bit. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so we no longer have JSON. It's just pure HTML now. I hit next step, reply. Let's inspect this. This looks good. I will copy this and okay, I'm going to switch to. Let me just switch to my computer real quick. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to make it easier for the audience by just using Notepad. Forget VS Code. We don't need VS Code for this. I'm going to paste this here, and then I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Give me a second. I'll save it as NER HTML. And let's see if I can find. I have the file now on my computer. I'm going to switch back to my browser, and I'm going to drag and drop that file in my tabs. And here we have it. We have ChatGPT highlighted. Okay, and so it's the same color because if you look at the entity recognition, it thought that AI was also a product type. Okay, but the highlight is done, but the tooltip is not working. So I'll go back to here. That's what I thought. The JavaScript does not detect mouse over effect. So the tooltip when I hover over the highlighted entity. What I do, it's supposed to show the tooltip, the entity type. Okay, we'll send this over. It's going to give us the corrected code. Okay. So it does the same thing as last time. It's just going to update the script a bit. Okay, now we get a tooltip. We didn't have that before. And I added an event listener, mouse over. Okay. All right, so this is perfect. I'm going to take this here. I'll go back to my agent. And yes, I could be analyzing. I could be analyzing the code and make effort. Okay, I actually don't. When you're working with AI, you don't have to. You can see the output, evaluate the output, and spend a lot less brain cycles trying to evaluate what's happening. You really don't need to do that. Okay, so I'm going to save this. I'll go back to my I'll go back to my notepad real quick. Let's see, and we're replacing the head section with this. Okay, and hit save. And I'm going to go back to my browser, refresh, and look, here we go, product. Now we have, I bet we already exceeded the original article by now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to, I don't think his thing highlights things with the mouse over. So I'm going to go to The Verge, and let's pick an article. I don't know. So much Amazon, and I'll just go into one of the top articles. Let's go California's governor. Okay, so I'm going to take a new article. Oh, actually, this, I can lose all this by now. I already have it. Oh, you know what? Let's do this whole article first before we go that. So we can wrap up this demo here. I'm going to paste the entire article in here. Step. I mean, it's already done. I'm just testing now. So if you didn't have any libraries available for entity recognition, well, you don't need any. So I'm going to copy this or paste it in NER. My notepad, I refresh this. So this is how it looks like. Location, person. Okay.
Tab, please.
Yeah, ChatGPT is not a person, so it is a mistake. All from Alpha as a product.
Can you just tab to your screen?
Yeah, it would be handy, right? Okay, so we've got location, got product, cardinal. Stephen Wolfram as a person. ChatGPT is misidentified as a person, but I forgive it because
yeah,
it kind of is like a person.
It's just a matter of time and some regulations, and then it will be.
Yes. Okay, so let's take this article here. I'm gonna take this article. Okay, I take this whole article and I go to my notepad, and okay, we have this here. And test this also with our brand new NER agent. Hit stop, Spider-Man, hit step. So then we're going to want to turn this into an API as well. We'll do that in a second.
And obviously you can tweak and go crazy that you can eventually paste URL or like a section, and it'll ignore ads and superfluous stuff, just focusing on the actual content.
Okay, so here's a great example of an actual article, right? Look at this. Person, location, date, organization, Congress. I think it's not actually, it's passable. It's making a few mistakes. California is not an organization. The legislature is. But you can refine your prompts. This is just an example, but look how cool it is. You can highlight the entities and so forth, right? Now, how useful is this? I don't know, but if SEOs get excited about this, then I happen to think that knowledge graphs are far more useful because they don't just deal with entities, named entities, but also other entities, and they also deal with the relationships between entities. But even knowledge graphs have their limits in usefulness when it comes to SEO, because LLMs do so much of that, right? So you could, if you want to make sure that the right entities are included in your article, right? Scrape a bunch of content from YouTube and Google, feed it into LLMs and say, use the same knowledge or write about this thing. And it's going to already be primed with those entities, and just statistics go to work and start including many of these entities. So if I were to take this text and say, write me a summary, it's going to include Newsom. It's going to include California. Does that make sense? So if I want to write about these entities, I just need to feed it good data, and That's kind of my SEO purpose.
Exactly.
But anyways, if we wanted to do that, look how easy that was to create. So now we're going to turn this into something production. And what I'll do now is I'll wrap this in an API. So we'll create an API for this. Sorry, I shrank my screen too much. So I'm give myself a little bit more space. Okay, so we're going to call this named entity extract labeler. And I'm going to say, okay, this endpoint will take a user's plain text and return HTML, an HTML file with the named entities wrapped and tags.
Named with a D.
Yeah, named entities wrapped in tags. Okay, that's enough description.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful main. So what I need is I need to have my input text. I'm just going to call it text. Text which we want to mark up named entities. Okay, that's my text, and I'm going to put that text over here, and that is part of the text. That's my output, and then I send that over here. I'm going to do a quick test here. I'm going to take this California stuff here. Okay, here's my text. Okay, so that's perfect. That works. So we'll stop the debug, and this is a let's say named HTML. Text to entity HTML. Okay, and let's try this out. I have a beautiful API specification right here. I have a staging server. I have a named entity labeler, and I have my input text. So let's try out. Let's try it out. I'm going to paste this in here, execute, and of course, I have a lot of quotes in there. So I need to pick it. I need to pick an example that is not rife with quotes. So I'm going to take this article here. No, I need to dequote it before I send it. Let me see if I can. Give me a second here. If I were to go here and use single quotes, it might work. Yeah. I need to escape it before I send it over. Let me do it a different way. Let me do a different way because this is like something it just takes me a second longer to figure out, and I don't want to waste anyone's time. So let's go to this article here, WordNet. And so here, Wikipedia is not like written like a whole narrative thing. So I'm going to take this text and send it. So if I had this text and executed it, I don't have to escape my my quotes. And here we have the output. So in other words, you already have a staging server for it. You already have an endpoint. You just send your text in a text parameter, and then the reply you'll get is the full HTML we talked about. So I'm going to copy this HTML, and I'll go to my notepad here, my NER file. I paste it in here. Okay, Then I go back to my browser. I will share this tab instead. Refresh. And okay, I think I know what it is. I need to escape it. What happened is the /ns are all here. So when I pasted it, that's what happened. So I'm just gonna replace all. Yeah. So anyways, this is your HTML, and we turned, hold on, let me swap this back to here. And what we did is we turned this agent into an actual API. So also something that the article does not do, right? All the article does is, where is it? So this article, this highlights things, right? Okay, you see what they do is they, let me see if I can open a new tab. Yeah. So what they do is they add the label into the text. What we did is it only works when you move over. And by the way, it's not perfect here too. Like Wolfram Alpha in this context is referred to as a database, and a database is not a person. You see? So yeah. Anyway, that's how you build a named entity recognition system. And what you do with it is.
Exactly, because the nice thing is you can then just tweak it here, and you can have two different types. One is where it's a tool to hover, or the other one is actually appends next to the highlighted text. So you can have it either way, tweaking here.
You can you can just ask GPT for a different style. I mean, that's very easy to do. But the essence, the entire exercise is basically just this one prompt from GPT. That's the whole thing. And if you wanted to use WordNet, or you wanted to use Google named entity recognizer, you would just call an API, and the API call here would replace this component here, and then you can still add the HTML markup in a secondary step, like we did. But anyways, this is what it looks like. So this is the output we got. I think it's pretty darn cool. There you go, named entity recognizer.
Built in 17 minutes.
Yeah, and we fooled around with some style stuff, but you see it's ridiculously easy. You do not need to know JavaScript or Python, or you don't need to know anything. You know, I didn't even bother to check if the JavaScript really worked. I just ran with it, saw the issue, told GPT, hey, that's not working, and it fixed itself. We call that principle the Wolverine. The Wolverine heals really quickly. Okay, That's it. Named entity recognition. I'll send you this video, Brett, and feel free to share it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Alexander. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.